Ladies and gentlemen, how you doing today? My name is David Ruff. As you know, I'm trying to make a concerted effort to come on every single day because we are having more and more people are contacting us every single day asking us what the heck is going on. My phone has never rang more in my life, all about the exact same subject. So we are always here. What is going on with the market? Everybody wants 30 minutes, an hour of my time. So we have been producing a lot of videos recently and putting them on our YouTube channel. You can go and look at the library there. It's easier for me to answer it once and send it to 100 people rather than talk to 100 people individually. So we are getting a lot more people these days who keep on coming and asking the same questions because it is scary. The market is going to be crashing a lot more than it is now, as we are seeing people lose not just their standard of living, but losing their properties and their vehicles and everything else. Then the fear gets higher and higher as this mania goes on. To those of you who have been preparing for this for 10 years, this is a great day because you're going to be able to buy things for half price, 75% off. And it doesn't matter if you're buying boats or fancy cars or artwork or homes, we're going to get those prices. For those people who have not been heeding the warnings and haven't been doing the right things, they're going to be the ones who lose, but we're going to be able to buy the pennies on the dollar. So we're pretty excited about it. I've been preparing for it since 2010 for the next downturn because I understand how these cyclical things keep happening over and over in history. Normally, we have a recession every 7 years and normally lasts for like a year and a half or something like that. But we have to be expecting that. It's been happening for thousands of years. So we know that there's always another one coming. Just this time, it lasted a long time, like 14 years or something. Like we were due. We were mega due for another one. So if you have any questions as opposed to how to set yourself up now, just ask me. Throw out some questions. My name is David Ruff. I operate in Toronto, Canada. I am a real estate broker, and we deal with buying and selling homes every day, mostly selling homes. So we sell these properties and then we invest, and we invest for the future and divvy that up. So there's a lot of strategy behind that. There's also about setting yourself up where you are buying the right types of homes at the right times, and how you set up your corporate structure so that you can pay zero taxes and pass your wealth on to your kids. I mean, that is the main goal, right? So for everybody who is here, if you guys have any questions for me, I normally deal with that type of stuff. Now, I am not a financial advisor, but I can tell you what I do in my own personal life. I'm always trying to find better ways to do things. Um, how much do you need to get started in a small town in Ontario? You're in Kingston. Awesome city, man. I love Kingston. Kingston has been on absolute fire. What do you mean get started? What have you done? What do you have? Do you have some stocks? Thank you, Yas, for asking me a question, by the way. If you do you have stocks? Do you have a job? Do you have property already? What's that? What's that? What's my Tim's order? I usually get dark roast, large. I should be double, right? Because I'm Canadian, and I like Boston cream. I think not all of the stores have that, but that's what I like. Um, yes, it's the best. Yes, Kingston is the bomb ass diggity. I love it there. Okay, so where should you invest in a starter property? The only place you should be buying today, if you're buying today, would be in Memphis, Tennessee for me, or Kentucky, or I would be looking Florida Panhandle, or today in Canada, I would be looking in Lethbridge, Alberta. Those are the only places I'd be investing today. But honestly, I wouldn't be buying today. I would be waiting until Q1 next year, like January, February, March. We will be seeing the government. The Canadian government has a meeting like September 6th or something. They expect to raise it another 1%. That means home prices will drop another 10%. We have to go through the winter. As we go through the winter, we're going to have no food coming out reports in September, October. Nord Stream pipeline will be freezing all of Europe. Problems compounding, right? And then we're going to see governments reverse course and probably pivot. Now, percentage wise, that's probably a 90% chance that it's going to pivot. Yash, you have a reasonably good job in a nonprofit sector. Love it, buddy. Good job. Keep up the job. keep stacking away money right now. Make sure that always you're putting like 5-10% of your income into gold and silver, right? You need to have some insurance money, and then be prepared. Next quarter, in first, second, you need to get a little bit more, right? And then once we graduate, we're going to get a little bit of Bitcoin and Ethereum. Are these upside down? Bitcoin and Ethereum. So we're going to get a little bit of that, but that's later on. Remember, things go up and down over time, right? But I've been investing in Bitcoin since 2013. So, if you hold it long enough, you're going to make good money. I'm not the genius type, man. I can't figure out how to buy low, sell high. Like, I'm not that smart. Warren Buffett isn't that smart. So how can I do it? Right. So this is where I buy and hold. How do you buy gold in Canada? Good question. I have a whole YouTube video on that. So just go over to Ruff Team Realty, same name as this right here, and go look at a YouTube video. I have an entire tutorial on how to do that. It's a really good website. Been using them for 15 years. You just go online, pick what you want, put your address in, they mail it to your house. Remember, never store gold and silver in your house. Of course, you can have a couple coins, sure, but you never want to be holding large amounts in your house. That's where you have to get a safety deposit box, or you're going to pay for a company to hold it in another vault in another country. Okay? You can have a couple of them, yeah, for sure. These are like 35, 40 bucks. So it really depends what you want to buy, but don't buy too much and hold it in your house ever. Bridget, thank you very much. You're calling me from YouTube. Should you be putting equity now while my rentals are worth more and then sit on the money, or just wait to refinance and buy more property later? Man, Bridget, this is some advanced level questions. I freaking love it. Okay. So should you be pulling equity now? Yes and no. Okay, so my question is so for your entire portfolio, you should be having some gold and silver, right? Some gold and silver. What percentages? People normally say 5-10%. Nothing crazy. This is insurance. But we're in a perfect storm where this stuff could like double easily in price. I've been buying it since 2010, and you keep stocking it up. Of course, you should have some schmuck insurance, I call it, some Bitcoin and some Ethereum. How much of this? 1-2%, right? Nothing huge. If you do that, you're not necessarily wanting to pull equity, but if you are time to refinance, I would be refinancing and buying some gold and silver and a little smidgen of 1%, okay, of Bitcoin and Ethereum. Have that in there. But remember, in the old days, it used to take us 3 days for us to go and get approval for a mortgage. Today, it could take 3 or 4 months to get approval. Remember these dates. We kind of want to be ready for Q1 next year. This year, it's a write-off. Don't even bother about trying to buy anything. So, Q4 this year, the last quarter, so October, November, December, you're going to go to your bank and start the process to start getting approved for a loan. When do you want to, another trigger for you of when you want to be looking to maybe refinance your property is when you see the government reverse rates. So we are seeing rates going up and up and up and up. And when you see them pivot and start coming down, that's when you can also apply. And when you apply at that point, remember, it's going to be a 3-month window, but try to be ahead of the game. So you got to have that approval ready to purchase. How do we know if a property is expensive or cheap? Never look at the dollar value. Dollars don't mean anything, okay? Because 100 years ago, this silver was worth $1. That's why they called it a silver dollar. And today, this one thing of silver could cost you $40. So now the dollar changed, the silver didn't change. So what we do to find out if it's expensive or cheap is you're looking at the total value of the property and then what it rents for. What is that relationship? Is it 0.5% a month? 0.75% per month? 1% a month? Some of our properties are 1.2, 1.3% a month, right? And so that's how we're going to figure out if it's expensive or cheap. How much money are we going to make off of it? So follow that. Really good questions, Bridget. Thank you so much for coming by. Really appreciate it. If you like my stuff, you can follow me at Ruff Team Realty on the same channel. We really appreciate it. We're trying to get to 1,000 views so we can go live. We have the full creator board there. So if you could Thank you. And if you know one person this can help out, if I give you any value at all, you could subscribe and tell one person about it. But good questions, man. I like it. So if you want to go buy gold and silver for TikTok, you guys are mentioning, thank you. Think about this. Okay, going to a website called Kitco, Kitco. It's a very big company. It's been around for a long time. I've used them for many, many years. They're also a place that you can walk straight in and you can exchange cash for coins if you want. Thank you, Glenn. Really appreciate it. Thanks for coming by on YouTube. Thanks, buddy. All right, you guys. So if you have any other questions, thank you guys for the likes on TikTok. I really appreciate it. And for all the gifts, we appreciate it. If I offer you any value at all, please go over to my YouTube channel from TikTok, you guys, and think about it. Bridget, do you have any other questions? I mean, this is great ideas. And if Bridget, if you're still there, can you just let me know where you're from? I'm very curious where you are. It really depends if you are going to be purchasing in a linear market or if you're going to be buying it in a roller coaster market. So roller coaster market would be a big city, New York, LA, Chicago, Toronto, Vancouver, something like that. Big cities. Even Montreal could maybe be in that. So you want something that is a bit bigger. You want to go into a smaller. Ottawa. Bridget, every single week, we have somebody come on for Ottawa. Yesterday, I had somebody on for Ottawa. Ottawa is a very, very, very interesting city. I say this with all the love in the world. It's kind of Canada's version of communism. Okay, hang on. Just hear me out. When we go to certain countries, right, that are communists, for whatever, whether you agree with it or not, you know, it's very stable. It doesn't really move very much. But a lot of capitalist markets have huge swings up and huge swings down, up and down, up and down. So as we don't have this roller coaster, Ottawa is very, very stable. One of my family members is from Ottawa, okay? And so we know a lot of people that operate in Ottawa right now. So they have gyms. The gyms never slowed down in the great financial crisis. And secondly, they have someone who works in a dealership, like a Ford, I think it was, in maintenance. They never slowed down at all. The yoga studio that we know, everybody that we know in Ottawa, business didn't slow down at all. That is incredible because the entire rest of the country was collapsing around us, but Ottawa never slowed down because they're almost all government workers. You don't have to tell me, but if you do work for the government, I wouldn't be surprised, right? Almost everyone does. And so they have stable income and things don't fluctuate all over. The second part about being in Ottawa is that the average salaries are normally, you know, between 70 and 120 kind of thing. And there is not a lot of high earners. High earners end up leaving Ottawa and they end up going and working in Toronto, Montreal, et cetera, et cetera. So in Ottawa, we do have legacy wealth that does appear there, where you have very rich families who buy properties there, but not usually working people. And so when you have that kind of a situation, doesn't matter what country you're in, you end up having very stable properties, very, very stable properties. So the homes that remain stable in Ottawa are the properties that are going to be under $1 million for a detached. Also, smaller condos, like a 1-bedroom or a 2+2. Those type of units retain their value extremely well. But the properties kind of between 1 million and 5 million kind of thing, those properties usually lose a lot. When we get into the properties in Ottawa that are like 10 million, something like that, now we're talking about legacy wealth where they don't have a mortgage on it. They just own it and they're going to live there forever. So Ottawa is a really, really interesting market. Kind of all the rules of real estate get thrown out the damn window when you talk about Ottawa. But it's an interesting place. I like it there. I enjoy it. Anyway, did that help at all? I hope it did. Okay. Thanks for coming on, Bridget, man. I appreciate it. If you guys have any questions, so what I do is my wife and I, if those of you don't know me, my wife and I, we own several companies. We are a real estate brokerage, full service here in Toronto. So we sell properties for people most of the time. We advertise properties on TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, all that. So who are we? We never knock on doors. We don't put out postcards. Like this stuff is from like 100 years ago. We also don't put up smoke signals and we don't send our mail with Pony Express. We run all of our ads digitally. So we just had a client this week that we were looking at From realtor.ca, the big kahuna, we only had one showing from that. View from that. All of our traffic, the other 38 came from all of the ads that we are running. So that is how you do it these days. We are a modern brokerage. We don't go and do the old school stuff. Very different. But what I try to do when I set up my companies is we try to have a holdings company holding the properties, owns the operating company, right? And then it's how money flows inside and out there. We also use other strategies where we're using permanent insurance. When we use permanent insurance, we can leverage ourselves up usually like 5x. So once you leverage that 5x and leverage 5x on property, and then you're 10x your profits. So we try to use, we call them smart money mechanics. And if you use money mechanics properly, you get a lot of safety and you get a lot more income that way. So if you do it properly, you should be able to retire a lot earlier than you would think. Bridget, I just unloaded on you, man. Do you have anything that you think? Did that help you? I don't know if you're still with me, Bridget, but thanks for coming by. All right, TikTok. Last night we had a live there. I had like 3,000 likes on TikTok and it went bananas. I was getting huge blocks of questions, man. You guys fired me up. I was doing my best. I was sweating a little bit trying to keep up with you, but you had some good questions. So, real estate is going to continue to go down right now. Not all real estate. So you need to be prepared for when is a buy season. It's coming. It's like Game of Thrones, when they say winter is coming. That's the only thing I know about the show, by the way. I never watched it, but I knew winter is coming and something about night walkers, frost walkers. I don't know, something like that. So, guys, the deals are coming. The season is coming. We are going to make a lot more money. And that's the main goal. I want you guys to be a lot better off than you were before. This is the season. So if you prepare, you will be actually like relishing it, to be honest. I've been preparing for it since 2010. So like a big part of my life has been I'm waiting, right? And so when those times finally come, you can be very, very excited about it. So sometimes you have to be aggressively patient, if that makes any sense. I think so. Anyways, so if you guys have any questions about real estate, permanent life insurance, any type of corporate structure, taxes, remember, I'm not a financial advisor. I am a real estate broker. And so we have agents that work for us and we try to sell properties in the Greater Toronto region. But I can tell you what I do from a personal standpoint and how I set myself up to try to be successful. We are also, it's been, if Glenn, you're on here, I've been trying for a long time to try to develop courses for this stuff. It just takes so many hundreds of hours to write it and film it and everything. It's a real pain. But where I would be looking, where I'm looking right now for early Q1 of 2020 is Kentucky, Tennessee, specifically Memphis and Calgary and Lethbridge. But then how do you deal with all your properties, David? I think one of the biggest mistakes is people always try to buy their properties near their homes. What a nightmare. Why would you do that? Why would you inflict that kind of pain upon yourself? I want to buy where I make the most money. Come on, guys. Money should be making money for me, right? That's how it's got to work. But thanks very much for coming on. Hey, Sam, you're on here today. How you doing, buddy? Hope that you're doing good. Sam was on here, man, a few times over the past couple days, and you asked some really good questions, Sam. You were like firing away, buddy. So I thought that you guys would have more questions for me. So I guess that everything's going pretty good for you, man. I'm happy for you. Things are tough. In the real world, we're contacting a couple hundred people per day. We have a lot of systems online where people are sending us messages. And as we get them, there seems to be a lot of problems in the market. And everyone on earth is asking what's going to happen, what's going to happen. So some tough times are going to be coming ahead, but the world of opportunity, some of the biggest businesses are started in the depths of a recession. From a real estate standpoint, remember that in Toronto, there's 72,000 agents downtown Toronto. It is the highest concentration in North America and maybe one of the top in the world for sure. And what happens is in a recession, almost all of them will quit. So remember that the number of realtors that sell one a month is what? Less than 1%. Less than 1% sell one a month. So people cannot afford all of the bills. It's $10,000 to get your license, $10,000 a year to keep your license. They can't afford it. So they're going to sell, get rid of their license. And then you have the real realtors that stick there. Warren Buffett always has an expression that once the tide goes out, you're going to see who's swimming naked, right? Kind of funny. Bridget from YouTube, how are you, man? You'd love to know more about acquiring land. I'm hitting roadblocks. Any strategies, suggestions, and tips? Would you avoid purchasing land now in today's market? Bridget, amazing question. Would I buy land? And would I buy land today? Neither. So here, let me tell you what I think about land. Land is very, very, very near impossible for you to get a mortgage. Now, there is only certain circumstances that you can get a mortgage on land. This is a very tricky question. There's only like one bank in Canada that will help you buy land if you intend to start building on it immediately. And even that loan is almost impossible to get. Normally, what has to happen is you have to buy all the land in cash. Then you have to start supplementing your building. And once you've built the building, then they'll give you a mortgage on it. So this is a lot of a nightmare, you know. My brother and I, we built several homes. We know this process. It's a nightmare to go through. Where I would be looking is if I wanted to get land, I'd be getting a huge chunk of land with a home on it, like a type of farm that would be in the path of progress. So let's say you had two cities and farmland in the middle, and you know that it's all going to end up getting developed one day. If you could buy a farmland in the path of progress, is what I would call it, then I would be buying that piece of farmland in the center with a home on it with a mortgage, knowing that I most likely am going to be able to subdivide it later and sell off pieces of the land. So would I do that? Yes. Okay. Second thing I would say, I wouldn't be buying home cash. I always use leverage. The other thing is I know somebody who went and bought land, and immediately, and the land was not too far from like power. So they were able to get power to the campsite. That was a big win. What they did then is they put up a bunch of glamping tents. This is in the US, glamping tents and Airstreams, and Airbnb'd it all out. And they, in no time, had a real good business running on a piece of land. Is that something that you are interested in? I would do that. That's going to be a business that's going to continue for a long time. But buying land today is really tough. Prices are at all-time highs. They have not come down. The people who buy land are the big kahunas, right? The big fish. But the people who have little individual homes, they're the people who we've seen the largest drops in prices. That was your vision, Bridget. Awesome. That's great. So buy a piece of land with a house on it in the path of progress. Okay, that's what I would do. You're welcome, Bridget. Nice. So, I have family that lives just outside of Ottawa, by the way, and I have family that lives just in the south part of Ottawa. So I know Ottawa pretty well. But there's farmland. If you know the city is expanding, right? You can go to the city, see what city plans that they're going to be having. Are they going to be expanding more west or east, right? And if they are expanding east and you see another town in the way, start buying some land right in the middle. But you shouldn't be buying that land and property now, Bridget. I would be buying that property like Q1, Q2. Of course, things may change. We got to watch what the government is doing and what they're doing with rates and what the foreclosures are going to be happening, like how bad the economy is going to be. But good questions. Hey, TikTok, you got any questions for me? Man, you guys have been really light today. Yesterday and the day before, we went at this, man. And man, it was like I felt like I was getting grilled by the FBI busting into Trump's house. Millions of questions. They were after me. But anyway, you guys, so I want you to make a lot of money. I want you to do well. If you have any questions with real estate, you can always reach out to me, Ruff Team Realty on TikTok. You can always DM me. Bridget, if you're on YouTube, you could also send me a message anytime that you want. I'm here to help you. Bridget, you are in Ontario, and I'm licensed in all of Ontario, so we can also help you if you have some questions when it comes to real estate. I'm here. I'm going to be trying to come on every single evening, somewhere between 7 and 9 p.m. To try to answer people's questions. Maybe I should be making it a more specific time. It's normally about 7 o'clock. I'm going to try to come on there. I'm not a teacher. Like this is, I'm not out there just, I don't know, like being an affiliate for something. I'm actually operating in the businesses. So I have less time than a lot of these gurus will say that are online. That these guys, I find a lot of people, they're all teaching, but nobody's doing. So it's very different to be a doer and then try to tell you how to do it, because all the people who tell you how to do it, they've never done it. Kind of weird, right? It's a weird world that way. So Bridget, you've stuck around a long time, man. This is one my suggestion, right? 5 to 10% gold and silver. Also, you need to go and get some Bitcoin and Ethereum. And you know what? I don't even know if I'd buy it today, but come third quarter, fourth quarter, something like November, December, I expect even these to drop more. If you wanted a more standard, like secure thing, I would do this. Gold and silver. I don't see how, especially silver, can drop right now. Silver is at the price of manufacturing almost. So if they can't, why would, if it costs them $35 to mine this out of the ground, why would they sell it for 35? No one makes a profit. It just doesn't matter. So that's why I would be, if I had one thing that I would buy and just close my eyes, it would be silver. Yeah. I try to buy silver every year. But you know, you could buy this in 1 ounce rounds like this, or coins, or you can buy, you can buy bars. I just dropped it. You see, it's still okay, man. It's tough. That is just a regular, I don't know what you would call it, regular round, like made a couple years ago. But this is like one of my pride and joys. It's probably one of the only things I've ever bought that was kind of frivolous, if you will. It is a 1894 piece of gold. This is when England was at their exact peak. And to me, it just blows my mind. Who on earth had this in their hands, right? It could have went to India, all over the world, right, to pay this. So I think it's pretty cool. It's my one frivolous thing, okay? I don't never buy things normally, but the cool thing about it is if you buy these right, they're the same price as regular gold. It's just kind of cool. All right, well, you guys are pretty quiet. I guess everyone's out eating their meal. Is that what it is? I guess so. But you guys, if you ever want to reach me, you can. I'm going to make a couple other videos tonight. And if you have any questions for me, you can always reach out. Okay. This is like your last call. You know, when you go to the bar, last bit of booze. Hey, Tommy, how are you, buddy? Hey, Tommy, if you're just coming on right now, I've been on for a little while. I'm going to be jumping off. I got to go film a couple of videos for some people, but I deal with real estate purchasing and selling in Toronto, and I try and help people build a lot of wealth through permanent life insurance strategies, corporate structures, and so on and so forth. Do you guys have any questions when it comes to real estate, specifically in Canada or the US? This is to selling real estate or buying real estate, and this could be commercial, residential, anything like that. If you have anything, I'm here. If not, you can always send me a message. Sound fair? All right, Tommy. Well, I'm going to be trying to come on every single day at like 7 o'clock. I've been on for a little while. My phone has been blowing up for, a couple months ever since the war started. So it's always about what's happening. So I'm trying to make more content so I can send it to more people, because I'm having the same conversations over and over again all day. Why is it that Alberta you can evict in days, but months here in Ontario? This is a great answer. And this is why whenever you are going to decide where to live, wherever you're going to decide where to invest, you got to be studying the politicians that live there at the time. You can't say that this is a good place and it's always going to be a good place. It can flip-flop back and forth. So if you are a tenant who has an idea of not paying rent, well, if you move to Quebec, you could live there for 2 years and not pay rent. You still have a job, but you don't have to pay rent. That's the way the government is set up. But you can go to an Alberta place, and if you don't pay rent, you have to leave in a week. So it really depends on how the governments are at that time. So study what the law is at that place, what the landlord and tenant board is saying at that place. So if you look at different places like who knows, Quebec or the Maritimes or Florida or wherever you want to go, just go wherever it's going to give you an advantage. So, Tom, you said as a renter, you'd take advantage of that loophole if really times are tough. And I mean, listen, a lot of people have, and it's hurt a lot of landlords. But I can tell you because I've been a renter before and I've also been a landlord. I currently am a landlord. Oh, you're saying if you were. Here's the thing is the rules. Fortunately, we don't live in a society where we have to question things anymore. Everything has already been tried. We don't exactly have any new ideas these days. So when it comes to renters, it is unequivocal that the more stuff that you put on the landlords, the harder it is on the renters. So let me expand on that. Let me explain. If you tell a landlord that he may, let's say Quebec, a tenant could live there for 2 years and not pay any rent. Well, then nobody wants to go there and invest there. What happens if they say you can't raise rents between tenants, like they say in Quebec? If that is the case, that's another hit against landlords. And once you keep stacking all of these things against the landlords, no landlords want to go there. Okay, now they've tried this before and it really hurts everybody. In addition, now in individual condo towers, let's say it's a 40-story tower, they're now saying the bottom two floors have to be low income properties. So where does the extra tax go? They add $40,000 to everybody that's on top to pay for the units downstairs. Once they do that now, it is another disincentive for landlords. Now, let's kind of change the conversation. If you took that away, now all of a sudden the immediate consequence is tenants will feel vulnerable. Absolutely. I understand. I feel for them. Rents would go up to the sky. They would be kicking people out left and right. But then all of a sudden, everyone would want to invest there. So as more and more landlords keep moving in and build more units and buy more units, then the rent prices will equalize and come down. So you kind of have to understand how that cycle works. It would create immediate pain, but it would be much better in the long run for you. Yeah, you need to change the laws to balance both sides to be fair. Absolutely. Absolutely. JJ, it's true. Saskatchewan has a flood of small rental homes because too many things against landlords. Oh, there you go. Yeah. So as soon as you turn against landlords, landlords leave. Does that make sense? Of course it does. Of course it does. Just try to uh, I don't like picking, but just let's say that you didn't like, I don't know, mothers. A country hated mothers, our province hated mothers, or hated a certain race, or didn't like men for, I don't know. If they didn't like it, they would leave. And so business is the exact same way. Laws kind of change and flip flop back and forth. Sometimes, say, one province will be really, really good, best place to operate. Sometimes it'll be bad. I live in Toronto. For a time, for several years, Airbnb here was amazing. People were raking in $8,000 a month to rent out an apartment here. Then all of a sudden, the laws all changed. And as soon as they did, now nobody's on Airbnb, right? So as the laws change, you have to adapt. Come on, guys. We can't expect that life. We never have to adapt, right? Life is all about adapting. Quebec ends up losing money in the long run with no one investing there. My point exactly. This is how it is. And here's the thing is I have been studying this for 20 years. My own siblings, my own brothers, I'm from Quebec. My own brothers invest in Quebec because they can't wrap their brain around having a rental property more than 500 meters away from them. That's why I say it's one of your greatest mistakes. So at one point, you got to just, and don't bother trying to help them anymore because they're dragging you down, right? JJ, you said they changed the social service policy to not pay the landlords directly anymore for just one. Can you expand on that, JJ? They changed their social services policy to not pay the landlords directly anymore for just one. Yeah, so social services in some places actually do pay, right? I guess that's what you're referring to. In Alberta, some of them do. Talk of feds raising cap gains tax from 50 to 75. Hear of that? Possibly. I really doubt that. I really doubt that, man. The rules more and more and more as we've gone down in history is to try to favor the big investors, the big guys. So listen, I'm going to worry about it when I come to it, right? But that's also another thing that I don't actually care if they raise it to 75% because I don't pay taxes. You don't have to pay taxes if you don't want to. So you're only going to pay tax if you sell, but why would you want to sell something that was great? So I only buy good things. Yeah, Tommy, I did a whole YouTube on that. It should be posted today, I think, on how to pay no taxes, how we set ourselves up to pay no taxes. So you can do that. I was up there yesterday with a pen, drawing on the TV. So you don't have to pay taxes. So you use management businesses to run your rentals? Of course, Aaron. Yep. I'm an investor. I'm not a toilet cleaner, I'm not going in there and sweeping the floors, going to collect rent, getting a call at 3 a.m, the heat's not working. I hire all that out. It's not worth my time. It's below my pay grade. Yeah, Summer, you said true. Worry when it happens. Exactly. We're going to cross that bridge when we come to it. If you want to go and read the news, to me, the news is just the devil. Everything on news is all clickbait and all fear mongering. Because if you're fearful, you're going to go buy, right? And buy stuff, whatever it is. I mean, every year it's another be fearful about something. I'll cross the bridge when I come to it. Aaron, you're asking how much are property management usually? Property management is about 10%. It obviously depends what kind of property it is, where it is. Are you in a town? But if you have an Airbnb that's an hour outside of the city, they're not going to charge 10%. They'll probably be 25, 30. But in the city, yeah, normally 10%. JJ, you said we have a lot of poverty here. People got checks, I'm guessing, but did not pay rent and wreaked a lot of havoc. Absolutely. We do have a lot of poverty here and we need to help people. But the way that they do it doesn't give the good results. Now, I'm not a scientist. All I can do is read the reports that have been out there, but we don't invent anything anymore. Everything that we do is already been tried. So just do the things that work. Do you know what I mean? I really think a lot of it starts with education, but the systems that we have need a lot of work. Yeah, I know. JJ, if you want to write a couple comments, you're more than welcome to. Per unit, 10%. Yeah, it's 10% of every unit. So if you have one unit at $1,000, they charge $100 a month. If you have 2 units at $1,000 each, it's $2,000 that you're bringing in rent. So they would charge you $200. 10% of the total rent collected. There's a couple of you on right now. I offer this every time I go live, and there's not very many of you this time. So if any one of you want to come on live with me, you're more than welcome to. If you don't feel comfortable doing that, you could still just write it down below if you want. You could just send me that request and I would approve it. JJ, it causes so much homelessness because landlords had to evict. And I understand that. But I got to tell you from the other side, the majority of our clients are mom and pop investors. They are not the BlackRock coming in buying 10,000 units. That's not our clients. So a lot of these guys, they will have one house, one daughter, one son, and then they buy one unit as a rental, and then that guy doesn't pay anymore. So what it ends up doing, they can't afford both mortgages either, so they all go down, and here you bankrupt the mom and pop. And that's what I'm against, that people can live in the same place for a long, long time. That really, really hurts everybody. Tommy, you still pay the repairs? Yes, of course. It's your house. You got to pay for it. You're just paying for the service. They handle the repairs for you and send you the bill. JJ, this was because before the policy changed, the landlords got paid directly from social services. Oh, okay. All right. Yeah, yeah, yeah. In in Ontario, in Alberta, I think that they do that as well. I'm not really sure. It does hurt everybody. So, this is where we have to be very careful when we are going to rent out a property, where you have to ask yourself, is it worth it for you to be going and asking somebody who, after is on social services, et cetera, is that the type of person that you want to rent to, right? So the good thing is, I guess, is that you're guaranteed a check, or almost guaranteed, maybe, that money will come in for the housing. But in my history, I have rented to people in that category as well, and the house has been torn apart. They flushed things down the toilet. In fact, one that we had just about 6 weeks ago, he flushed a whole chicken down the toilet, broke the pipes to the main part of the city, and he had three people living in the backyard sleeping on like old bed bug mattresses under a tree and pooping in buckets in the backyard 6 weeks ago in Alberta. So, that's what you're going to get, right? And then he moves out. And what do you think we have to do? We have to send in cleaning crews, bed bug crews, repaint the place, change the toilets, go dig up the whole lawn to change the pipes. I mean, disaster. So, I mean, for me, I gave it a shot, and I'm never going to do it again. You know what I mean? Yeah, I mean, the entire chicken carcass, he ate all the meat off of it and flushed it down, and it broke all the pipes and the toilet. Crazy, right? I literally got the email, and in the email, it says they are defecating in pails in the backyard. Literally, I should make a video about it. Just show them what the email that I got. They're pooping in pails in the backyard. Unbelievable. This is what you get, though, right? I should have known. And that guy, by the way, he was the most picky human I've ever run across. Every week or 2 weeks, the fridge isn't working. We had to send somebody over. The fridge was fine. The freezer isn't working. It's fine. The dishwasher isn't working. The heater isn't working. Then I got a call from somebody that saw him standing on the roof of the house, nailing crap into the roof like a stupid wind vane thing. What are you putting holes in my roof for? You're not supposed to be on the roof. Anyway, absolute crazy. I should do a whole video series just on that kind of stuff. Break everything, man. Unbelievable. Anyway, you guys, thank you very much for coming by and asking me some good questions. You know, I take for granted, I've been doing this for so long. I don't even know, 15, 20 years, man. I've been doing it so long that I take for granted a lot of the stuff that I've learned. And listen, here, I'm the first one to admit I don't know this stuff. I didn't know it. I read a lot of books. I asked millions of questions. So if I'm asking millions of questions from smart people and reading a lot of books, I can get that knowledge. So when I see people that can level up permanent life insurance and corporate structures and building a business and getting teammates, and when you can do that and then pay no taxes, how does this happen? The knowledge is out there. You just have to go get books and read about it, or go on a like Udemy, or go on Skillshare and pay to learn with the experts on courses. But you got to find somebody that you trust. But if you have any questions, yeah, keep putting them down below. I'll get to them. Yep, I did get him out, Tommy. It's Alberta. I got him out in a week. It's so too bad. I know, like, this whole situation makes it even more and more homeless. Yeah. We had troubles too. We were just selling a rental house. Yeah. So listen, hopefully you're not going to lose too much on your rental house, but if you are going to be selling your rental house and you need another rental house, because everybody needs 10. If you do get another rental house, I'd be buying it in Alberta. Why Alberta? Why would you buy so far away from you? Well, because the laws, man. We follow what the laws are. At the time, right now, the laws are favorable there. And I'm going to keep investing there until the laws are changed somewhere else. So I'm always adjusting. Every day is an adjustment. Pray, thanks if you got the right tenants. Yeah, be winning the lottery. I mean, I got 3 tenants. Yeah, 3. No, 2 of them I've never even heard from once. My property management deals with it. I've never even talked to them. I don't even know they exist. Money just shows up every month. And one tenant, he's called me a couple times because I mean his hot water tank was broken. So we sent somebody over there right away to fix it. But most of the tenants don't even, I never even know that they exist. I have property management deal with that stuff. Yeah, Aaron. Yeah, property management companies do everything. They go, they talk to them, they get their application, they bring them in, they film the house, they make sure that they sign all the paperwork, they negotiate the prices, they collect the rent, they send me the rent, they send me statements, they handle any repairs that are done, they handle everything. We've done well with selecting tenants. Good job, JJ. We had only 3 tenants since '01. Beautiful. Nice, nice, nice. But sometimes they're bad, right? So you got to get them out and you got to get good tenants in, but you also have to be in an area that is landlord friendly. I just made you look at now at Alberta to invest. Yep, exactly. You only want to be going to Alberta right now. It's the only place in Canada that is friendly. If you go to the United States, you can go to a lot of places: Arizona, Nevada, Texas, Florida, Tennessee, Florida, Tennessee. I think that's it. Florida, Tennessee, Texas, Arizona, Nevada, something like that. Those are the ones that are landlord friendly. So, those in the United States, they sometimes call them purple states, right? Because they flip flop. One time they're Republican, one time they're Democrat, like conservative, liberal, conservative, liberal. So my point is you invest where it's conservative because conservatives normally are pro business. So you want to be investing in pro business. But the last one was there 5 years and it was all great. Nice. Beautiful. 5 years. Beautiful. Absolutely awesome. Another good thing about being in Alberta, I can raise the rent as much as I want. I could raise it $100 a month, every month, if I wanted to. And that's the thing, is the market's got to work like the market's going to work. If I keep on raising my rents $100 every single month, what's going to happen? Eventually, I'll lose all my tenants, and then that's on me. So, right, it's about raising your rents to whatever the market can bear. That's it. Yeah, Tommy, no Calgary condos. Not right now. Maybe next year. The only place right now that you should be looking in is Lethbridge. Calgary has terrible cash flow. In fact, by me saying terrible cash flow, zero cash flow. None, zero. I invest to get paid. I don't invest for hope. Hope is not a business strategy, man. Right? Crazy. Let me, JJ, you're on here a long time. So is Tommy. I'm going to give you a really good story, but should change your entire life. JJ, you would never buy a condo? Oh my God. I got to tell you. Okay, 2 things. You guys been really, really good. JJ, I'm going to address you. You would never buy a condo, first of all. I thought that forever. I would never live in a condo that's dirty, nothing gross. But when I became a realtor, I saw that condos are not condos. So I visited thousands of condo buildings. So obviously I have an inside scoop, right? I know exactly what I'm looking for. And so when I found a really good condo building, then you get the condo status certificate. It's like the building Bible. And you could read through all the stuff that's in it, make sure that the building is ticky-boo. When you live in a building, guess what? It's cheaper for me to live in a condo because I don't clean out my vents. I don't clean my windows. I don't vacuum out front. I don't cut my lawn. I don't have to cut my grass. I also get HBO included. I get internet included. I get electricity included. Water is included. I also get, did I say internet and cable TV? Like the Rogers boxes with 400 channels. I get Crave TV. Everything's included. I actually have a hard time when I go get my license. They're like, show us a bill that comes to your address. I'm like, I don't even have a bill. So if you live in the right place, I've just subcontracted all of that crap out. I don't want to do that. I don't fix anything. If I have something that's wrong, I call somebody up and they're here within like 20 minutes and they fix it. So that's why I love condo life and I'm never going to go back. It's kind of one of those things. Once you try it, you're like, oh my God, I get it now. And it depends where you live, because out in Halifax, we have family that lives out in Halifax. They hate houses. They hate it. They only want to live in a condo in Halifax. Everybody. So condo prices are so high that they're forced to live in a detached. Boo hoo. they're crying their eyes out, right? Because I have to live in a detached in Halifax. Now, come back to Toronto. Everyone wants a detached. No one wants to live in a condo. People are funny that way, man. So it's a weird world. Aren't we lucky that everyone is so different? It's great. So condo life, really, really cool. You bought 4, all worked out for me condos. Now, listen, it's very hard to say about condos because a lot of condos are garbage. Okay. A lot of condos for rentals are garbage. I don't want to fight with HOA, the homeowners association, or the condo corporations. I don't like those fighting. So should we invest in condos or live in condos? I like to live in condos, but I never invest in condos. Right. I need to control everything. I wanted to address one other thing. Never buy a condo. That was one thing. Yeah, buy in Alberta. That's one thing you said. Calgary, I would not buy in Calgary. I was just going back on those questions. JJ, you said, nope, never. I know 2 people who lost control of their condo. Yeah. Right. So I got a really good, JJ and Tommy, you're both here. I'm going to tell you this great example. I find it really helped me. I have a family member. He's an alcoholic. He parties like every day. An asteroid is going to come hit tomorrow. I mean, every dollar just spending like a drunken sailor, like party time. Okay. Next friend of mine has 5 houses, all worth $1 million. He's 40 and change years old, and he's never even had a Tim Hortons, never even had a Tim Hortons coffee, nothing. Okay, so now that you know these 2 guys, who do you want to go out with at night? Which one of these 2 dudes? Obviously, I would like to go with the party dude. That's where I want to go. But who would I park my money with? Would I park my money and invest it with the party guy, or would I invest it with the real frugal guy? I'd say, well, obviously the frugal guy. So that's how I live my life. I am going to live where the governments are just spending money like crazy in party time. But where am I going to invest my money? With this serious group of people. So invest in provinces or states where they love business people. Live where they're partying. Pretty cool, right? JJ, you said before they knew it, the condo had no more resale value. Yeah. I mean, there's a million nightmares when it comes to that. So continue to be careful. That's my only advice. Whew. Well, you guys, this has been a power hour. I'm coming up on an hour. I'm gonna have to get running. Tommy, JJ, did you like my story? Party animal, business person. It's so true though, man. I'm telling you. All right, you guys. I said last call like 25 minutes ago. You guys get me rolling, man. I got work to do. I'm actually an operating broker, right? We're trying to sell houses here. Yep, Tommy, pre-construction. Yep. We don't do pre-construction because we make a lot more money on resale. We haven't done pre-construction in like 9 years for investment. Of course, we help other people buy them all the time, but it's for them personally, not for investors. Yeah, you guys loved it. Nice. Tommy, JJ, both of you, would you help me out, please? If you liked if this gave you any value whatsoever, can you go to this same name, subscribe to me here and on YouTube? I got to get to 1,000 people on YouTube, man. I'm giving my time for free here. It cost me a lot of money to do it, but I just want to help people out. But just give me a couple subscribes, man. It would really help me out. Go over to the same name, Ruff Team Realty on YouTube, and I have full explanations of how we do a lot of things. You could search the library there. All right, you guys, I really appreciate your time. Hope you have a great night. Thank you, everyone.